Come on now.
They wanted to play it again. Y'all was like, we ain't done yet.
Hey,
encore.
Y'all already know what it is. Hey, before we start anything, first things first. God did this. Don't get mad with us. I'm your host, Eric Knight. We got the Garden State Stat Man himself. We got the Heartbreak Prince, and we got Mr. Exclusive. I know what it is, man. Thank you guys again for coming to the Xclusive Knights Podcast. But first, before we get into anything that started within this week, let's see who really knows their wrestling.
So this week, I changed it up a little bit. I called Boss maybe like an hour ago, and I had an idea for something special. And to commemorate the first Saturday of college football, what I did was I sent them pictures of 5 WWE and 1 maybe not WWE superstar yet, because there's a partnership in place that could make it happen. And I put 3 college football team logos on the picture with them. Each of you will have to guess which school they played football for.
I'm out.
I'm out. Elwin said, no, sir.
If you had told me to guess 3, I had 2 in mind, but no.
I'm giving you 3 answers. I'm giving you 3 guesses. They're not the easy ones. Like everyone knows The Rock went to Miami.
Yeah.
Most people probably by now know Roman Reigns went to Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
You could probably even know Goldberg went to Georgia.
Yeah.
But there's one other one that I would probably say that's kind of obvious in there. There's a trick question. And then there's a couple that if you know them pretty well, you probably would know that they went there.
I can't stand you, Russ.
I'm not even I can't stand you. I'm really gonna have to think hard, pause, because I have no idea at all what I'm doing.
I feel really good about 3 of them. I know I got a little bit inside advantage, but I promise you, the tablet's on the floor. I have not looked. 3 of them I know off top hand. That's just the sports in me, but in due time.
I don't think they're that hard, but then again, I'm a maniac. I try my best to make it as hard as possible.
You succeeded, sir, because I'm out.
Already? We have so much time left. What do you mean?
I could probably name the wrestlers that played college football, but I don't. You start saying the exact school. Oh,
I will say all of them are fan favorites. I would say, and
okay.
Me and Darrell even met one a couple months ago and shook his hand.
Well, this is true. This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
That's conspiracy, man.
I only know 3 of them off top hand. I promise you, I only know 3 of them. That's 2 of them. I'm like, I'm not for sure. I'm not for sure. Innocent.
This is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a doozy.
It is.
Well, let's very first and the best part of the week. Let's get to that Monday Night Raw, baby. I mean, I don't know how much more times I'm going to say it. 3 hours of heat. 3 hours of fire. 3 hours of non-stop storytelling. And it just keeps getting better. I mean, there's a few things we can always talk about. We can always talk about, Gunther and Randy Orton, how crazy that's getting. But what did they talk about? I mean, come on. Why are we not talking about it already? Let's go ahead and get into it. We got CM Punk. He comes out. He's out there already. He goes out there. He says, I'm feeling good. I still got joy, but I really want to challenge Drew McIntyre to a strap match. Drew comes out there. He said, have you started drinking? Have you? He said, nah, but I accept. So now he accepts it, but he tells CM Punk, well, I'm only going to come in if you lose that strap. Go ahead and lose the strap. If you lose the strap, I'll come in the ring. CM Punk says, nah, you know what? How about this? I'll give you the strap if you give me the bracelet. Bracelet. Drew thinks about it. Says, nah, I'm good. I think the bracelet's better with me. I think your family's even better with me. And honestly, at this point, you think about it, CM Punk says, it's not going to be you that's attached to me. It's not going to be you that's attached to you, it's to me. I mean, you got to think about this, man. We talk about the storyline. We talk about how good this is getting. We talk about just the overall, like how personal this has really gotten. I mean, it's gotten to the point we've seen Drew McIntyre at Fan Fest over in New York going crazy. I mean, just trolling the whole time. I mean, I don't know how many times we really got to talk about with this man, Drew. Honestly, I have gotten to the point that every time I see Drew McIntyre on TV, I'm immediately about to start busting out laughing because I already know Drew McIntyre's about to say something talking about CM Punk. And every time he does, I mean, I've never seen a storyline or something like this and take it everywhere. Besides, if we're talking about Matt Hardy and Edge, when that really got serious. But, I mean, we talk about some of the greatness stuff of just everything as a whole with this. I mean, we got this bracelet, and who would have thought? I mean, who would have thought? The one thing that this one little bracelet has been almost like a championship. It's so important to these two now. This is considered a championship. It's like, at this point, it's like, just give me what I want. And I ain't talking Batista. I mean, when you think about this, you got to love it. You really just think about how far are they really going to take this? I mean, pause. How far are they really going to take this storyline to the next level? How long is this going to go? Pause. What are your thoughts?
What? Am I first? Am I going first? Hey, I don't.
You going first now.
So,
what are your thoughts?
Yeah, hey, look. So, here's the deal, man. Like we talked about this a couple episodes ago, and my thing is this. They have done a really good job of making sure that this storyline has lasted a strong 8 months. I mean, this thing started back in January. Oh, take that back. I rephrase that. We started last November, and this from November up until now, we're 10 months in. Excuse me on that. 10 months in, and we're still nowhere near a resolution in this storyline. And here's the thing: we've been stuck to the TV the entire time. Nothing has made us run away from the storyline, and that's what's been making this a masterpiece of a storyline. And here's the thing: the way they're going, even if he gave him the bracelet back or he got the bracelet back, this thing ain't over. I feel like this storyline's been so good. I feel like we still got another 10 months on the storyline. I mean, that's just how it feels right now. Like they can probably push this thing for another year. Because here's the thing: you still got the title element. You still got the title element that could happen at some point if one of them get the title and they go against each other. I feel like it's the only way that this thing should end. But, we'll see. I feel really, really good about what I've seen so far. Keep it rolling. Best storyline. I'm still on Raw. Just saying.
Hey, you're not lying, Mr. Smooth. Honestly, it's been good. Making good. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts?
He got me till I got good.
There's not much more I can say about it. I think, it just goes back to what Darrell always talks about, Mr. Exclusive, and that's the long-term storytelling. And you're talking about 10 months in, and we still have a storyline that's got depth to it, that keeps increasing week after week. Drew has been in his bag week after week. When it comes out and cutting these promos, I like how CM Punk has used the strap, to kind of try to make this trade off between him and Drew, and now this becoming a match, and it's been good. I mean, they've been doing a really good job with this story, because after SummerSlam, I was thinking that they were getting ready to set up something with Seth Rollins and CM Punk, but obviously, that hasn't been the case, and I'm still invested in what's going on with Drew and CM Punk. So, I mean, hey, like I said, only we do is keep tuning in. I mean, they've been doing a good job. It hasn't run, the storyline hasn't gone stale on me or anything, so I'm for it.
Yeah, man. I think that's the biggest thing, man. Honestly, that's what I'm saying. Like they just keep just taking it just Monday nights to where you're taking it to other things. I mean, it's hilarious. I mean, Drew still have you started drinking? I'm to the point now. I love when just Drew just asking genuine questions. Like, I'm just like, yeah, it's great. Hey, Statman, what are your thoughts?
I love it too. If we know anything about CM Punk, or at least for me, if there's one thing I love about him, or what we've always loved about him, it's not his actual wrestling, it's his mic skills. He's always been able to suck you into the story, pause, and just kind of convince you that it's going to be worth watching just from his mic skills and his promos and everything. So like it's gotten me into it. I think the match at SummerSlam was a good start and a good tease, because he may not be the same CM Punk that can do a marathon match. I don't think he ever really could do a marathon match before. I just think he did enough. Like, he's almost like an edgier Miz, in the sense of he's not going to do the flashiest moves. He's not going to do the craziest stunts or the craziest bumps. But when he's in a promo about whatever match is coming up or whatever storyline he's doing, what he's saying is going to attract your attention and keep eyes on him. He's going to be the one that people love to hate or hate to love. And right now, it's kind of a good mix of both. So like I'm all in for this match at all, whatever happens. Even though I hate strap matches. If I'm being honest, I can't stand strap matches. I think they're one of the more boring gimmicks ever. Like, on paper, it's just like, yay, we're gonna be tied to each other. We're gonna whip each other like it's 1789. I don't care. Sorry,
1789.
Denzel from Glory.
Look, just
one tear coming down.
Just that first year of the George Washington era. That 1789. I see you.
I've been working on the railroad all the long day.
It wasn't a good time for us back then.
It's a boring gimmick.
It wasn't good times for us back then.
No, not at all, boy. Not at all. Well, we talked about one of the best storylines that's happened in the world, but we need to talk about the next storyline. That's still one of the best storylines. And I ain't talking Best Buy. Let's go ahead and talk about it. The Terror Twins, her and Damian Priest already. So you already see what's going on. Damian Priest is having a match with Dirty Dom. That Dirty Dom himself. He's up in there. He throws Dominic Mysterio out of the ring. Rhea takes Dom, grabs him up. And who comes to save Dirty Dom? Oh, you already know who. That girl, Liv. Liv comes, hit her with a chair. Bye-yow. That's it, boy. And now, you see Carlito, Finn, JD, Dirty Dom, just wreaking havoc on Damian Priest. At this point, you're getting what you get. I mean, Liv is out here just slamming Rhea Ripley's face constantly on the announce table. At this point, I'm like, my God, I've never seen Liv look this strong. And I ain't talking Roderick Strong. Liv is having over here looking in just disarray, just looking all just disheveled, puzzled, and broken. Okay, look at this. Crazy. I mean, Liv takes Rhea Ripley, tosses it into the ring post like 3 times, another time into the steel chair. They're forcing Damian to just watch all of this happen again. This is the best I've seen Liv Morgan look ever, okay? Now she's over here. She hits her finisher. She runs and hits her finisher on Rhea Ripley. I mean, look at this shot. This is the most dominating I have seen Liv Morgan ever. Okay. Now they're continuing. Dirty Dom does a little Eddie Guerrero because we know that's your real dad. Let's just go ahead and stop playing about it. Hits the frog splash right on Damian Priest. They pull Rhea right with Damian. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to lie, man. We talk about something that has been so built up. We talk about something that has almost come around full circle. Okay. We look at this storyline with this, and I can't lie. I know I said what I said about my Liv Morgan confession when I booed 2 years ago. Go back in time and grab myself and show myself what Liv is doing now. I would probably do a standing ovation. I would give Liv a standing ovation because this right here was gold. There was a point when Liv had pointed up to Dirty Dom. I said, wow, she reminds me of Trish Stratus. Just that look. Stratus, like at WrestleMania 20, when she turned on Chris Jericho and, you know, and was with Christian. And just that look when she turned heel, that was that same look. I said, oh, Liv is on to something. Now, I'm not calling her Trish Stratus. I think Liv is on her own thing. I think what Liv is doing right now is good. And I mean, it's immaculate. I said, wow. I love how Liv is looking. I love how Dirty Dom is looking. You know, I'm loving how Finn is looking. And you know, I know there's specifically somebody that loves seeing Finn look like this. So, Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts?
Let me start by saying first, I was a little nervous about what was going on with the Judgment Day because, you know, for the past couple of weeks, they haven't been looking strong since they've kind of turned over to a new leaf to my boy, the Prince himself, Finn Balor. And so I was wondering where they were going with this because the Terror Twins were looking stronger and stronger each week. And I was like, I don't know how this is going to go with the Judgment Day and the start of the rise of Finn and the Judgment Day. But this week they went in and it looked like the Judgment Day I would like to see, just dominant. You're talking about, you know, beating up on Damian Priest, making him sit and watch as, you know, Liv goes to work on Mommy. And it was just, I mean, hey, it was A1. It was an A1 segment for the Judgment Day. It was a chef's kiss to the Judgment Day. I mean, it was a lot there. And then that picture right there, where they're standing there with Mommy laying on her Terror Twin, Damian, and Finn just has him by the head and just like, this is what you get. This is what happens when you mess with the Judgment Day. I mean, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and I don't think we got enough time for me to explain. Because that was good, and I'm talking Megan good.
Okay, come on now.
Let's stop laughing.
Cousin Skeeter making good.
Yeah, oh shoot! As long as it ain't Eve's by you, we're there. Let's go.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Oh jeez. Oh, Mr. Exclusive, what are you doing?
Well, you know, look, right now they are doing exactly, you know, they're doing exactly what they need to do. We knew that it was going to be a little bit of time to kind of get themselves, you know, to make this Judgment Day believable. But they did a really good job of beating up the future tag team champions. I'm going to go ahead and say it now because you know me. I'm trying to be Nostradamus. I'm trying to predict some future Terror Twins tag team champions in the future, throwing it out there now. But even with that, it's just like they've done a really good job, and it's 5 on 2. And at some point, there was a part of me that says, is Jey Uso going to come out and help here? Like, you know, I feel like at some point he's going to help out. I don't know when, but I feel like he's going to come out and help them. You know, they had the little storyline where he was, you know, boo-thanging over on Rhea. And I'm like, when he needed to come and save her the most, my man wasn't even there. Yeet. He didn't even show up. But but I like what they're doing right now. Keep this going. And, you know, when Bash of Berlin comes next week, I don't know if I want to see. I don't know if I want to see Damian and Rhea win. I think I kind of want to see the Judgment Day keep this on and make it more of an uphill climb for Damian and Rhea to continue their growth as baby faces right now, because they're doing a really good job of that. I remember like a couple weeks ago, I said to myself, the way they're doing things with Damian, with Priest, I'm just like, but they've done a really good job of switching him from tweener type heel to straight up baby face. Like he's getting the love that I think they wanted him to have, for a minute. So this is perfect. And once again, Triple H has found a way to kind of make things happen that way. So that's this classic old school wrestling at his best right there. Being able to turn somebody like that you want him to be the face. And this is they did a good job of doing it. Really good job.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Hey, Stat Man, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
I think I'm the only one here that's been a fan of Damian Priest since he actually stepped into WWE, because I still have good memories of Punishment Martinez. So I've never been not a fan of him. I may have not been a fan of his creative. I thought his NXT run was kind of fun. And who didn't love Rhea Ripley from the start? So like to have them two together, I think is a lot of fun. But I think I'm with Boss on this one, Mr. Exclusive. I think I kind of want to see Liv and Dom get a win next week, just because I think this story can go on at least for another month. Because Liv still has the belt. She's got to have a one-on-one championship match again eventually, sooner or later. I don't know if it's going against Rhea, but I think there's still something kind of to tease this. And like I wouldn't mind Jay joining the story, because I was trying to think of who could join the story to help them, because I feel like they have to get someone else, because it's one-on-one for the women's wrestler. But then you got 1, 2, 3, 4 wrestlers, one top tier male wrestler. So like against Damian Priest, and as good as he can be, he can't take on all of them by himself. Pause. So like it's I think it's going to be interesting to see who they could pair with them if they actually throw someone else in there. But I'm enjoying the story. I mean, I've always been a fan of Finn Balor too, so I think this is the closest we've gotten. Like I said before, this is the closest we're going to get probably to a true Prince Devitt run on main roster in WWE. So like as long as he's in the front of the story, I can't complain.
Yeah, I feel that, man. I think they're doing it right. I think it seems like that they're on a cusp of being on a come up to change a lot of stuff for them. I think it's looking good for Finn. I think Finn longer every week. The more and more he's cutting these promos, I'm like, all right, Finn, you looking like you that Prince again. You looking like you getting back to your old good self again. So you see glimpses of that. I think for me, just seeing Liv like really kill this as a new way of. I think this is just it's gold. It is gold. It's a gold standard. Maybe I just give it a gold standard, because at this point, I'm to the point where I'm saying to myself, I am now invested in Liv Morgan. I'll say it. I will say it. That's it. That is it, boy.
I'm not going to say I told you all them girls from Jersey were different and they're special, but I told you all them girls from Jersey are different and special.
You got this one right. I mean, I married one, so I'm not going to say too much negativity.
The best thing you ever did in your life, boss.
Best thing I ever did in my life. Married a girl from Jersey. I'm not dumb here. I know what I'm doing. I'm not trying to get hemmed up.
Boy, we talked about 3 hours. Let's go ahead and get into that NXT. Now we here. We talking about NXT. I mean, we talk about NXT. We got to talk about Shawn Michaels. Come on now. Give this man the chef's hat, because he is constantly cooking up. And I don't know how many more times we got to talk about it, but when we talk about Shawn cooking, we might as well go ahead and talk about this Gauntlet Eliminator match. So we go ahead. You know, she's in there with Adriana Rizzo. You know, and she gets the first pinfall, and I'm like, okay, cool. Now we're seeing. Oh, at this point, who's coming up next? Now we see Jada Parker eliminating Kendall Gray. Now, also, if you guys don't know, originally Carmen Petrovich was supposed to be in the match, but she was attacked by Izzy Dane. It didn't mean anything because Kendall Gray eliminated her. But then what was crazy, we seen Soul Ruka hit a soul snatcher. Okay, a soul snatcher out of nowhere. And I ain't talking RKO by Randy Orton. We're talking a soul snatcher. She hit that on Ren Sinclair. And it was left. I mean, look, come on. Like, come on. Look at this. Gold, baby. Gold. Even if you look at that last one, it was a little shocked herself to even see that happen. That was crazy. That was crazy. Okay, gets the pin, gets the finish. And at this point, now, Soul Ruka does a move on Jada Parker. And Jada Parker kind of falls on her back. At first, I wasn't sure if it was a mistake, but it was supposed to happen. But it worked. Worked perfectly. Now they get up, get themselves readjusted. We come across to a part where Soul Ruka is actually messing up a little bit. She stumbles, actually, but this is part of the match that was supposed to happen. Now she does what she does there. At this point, Jada Parker gets a little reversal, hits her with a finish, hits her with that hip check, and that's the finish. Finishing off Soul Ruka, and now Jada Parker says that she's got next on that title with Roxanne Perez. She's up next. If we really want to talk about it with Jada Parker, I mean, you look at this group right here with OTM, and you see where she's come from. You see how far she's made it. I mean, to be honest, I was actually a little shocked to see my girl Jada Parker get it this early. But this says something. This says that Shawn, HBK, okay, showed something Jada Parker that maybe everybody else is finally seeing themselves. Now, look, I'm not going to lie. Some people might have felt some type of way to see Soul Ruka not get the W. I definitely understand that because, I mean, come on. Soul Ruka, it's Soul. It's Soul. I mean, Soul said she got to hit on somebody to get a title run. She going to get it. We know that. Some people, they really like some of the names that were on the Gauntlet match. I personally thought, I mean, we have a lot of some that we did know, but the ones that we did or did not know were it was a little iffy. The only reason I say that really because, you know, we think about Carmen Petrovich, you put her in the match, and all of a sudden you take her out the match. And then I thought, oh, okay, good. Izzy Dane, we might as well throw her in. She hasn't really had an actual genuine title match. Let's give her a shot. No, we give it to Brindley Reese. Problem with Brindley Reese, I think she's good. I like her skills in the ring. She's a nice comer. But I mean, again, I know there's a couple other names we thought should have been in this match. But one person I definitely want to get that opinion because I know there's a few that we think should have been in that match. But Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts?
Let me just start by saying Soul Ruka and that Soul Snatch, that Soul Snatcher finisher, A1. I mean, the way she hits that, it is a beautiful sight to behold. But it was like we talked about last week. You know, we said, hey, we can only see this really going two ways. It's a group of unknowns and then two. And you had Soul Ruka and you had Jada Parker. And you guys were right. I mean, y'all called it. You know, I think the majority of y'all picked Jada Parker. I wanted Soul Ruka to win. Obviously, we talked about the issues with Soul Ruka if she was to go over in the match and then having to, wrestle for the women's championship and lose again. What that would do for her and her momentum. So obviously, I think the obvious choice out of this probably was Jada Parker. But for Jada Parker to put on a match that she put on, and then to cut the promo that she cut after the match, I mean, it does make you say, hey, I got to take this lady right here serious. She put on a great match. I'm interested to see, where Shawn's going to go with this, especially for the women's championship. Could this be finally the time for Jada Parker to bring a title to her group? I don't know, but I mean, I'm just glad that we don't have to deal with the the depression of my girl Soul Ruka and that Soul Snatcher, baby. I'm just gonna wait and see what happens with Jada, and I do hope they give Soul Ruka and Lash Legend what they deserve eventually. I know it's the chase, and it's got to be up and coming for them because they are up and comers, but those are my two girls right now in NXT, and I'm going hard for them.
Man, I feel that, man. I feel that 100%, man. Stat man, what's your thoughts, man?
I think we all kind of were looking at, if it wasn't going to be Soul Ruka, I think we all said Jada Parker was probably our next best one, or the next one we probably would want to win. And I can't remember her name, the girl who they replaced after what's her name left out, but she was also someone else who has been wrestling for less than 2 years, or at least in WWE. So like it still is a build to it. I firmly believe that Soul Ruka will have a championship reign sometime. I don't even care which one it is, to be honest. I don't care if it's the North American or the Women's Championship. I just really want her to actually have one because, like, I think she proved again last night not only how how popular she is, just because her finisher can literally happen almost at anywhere. She has the athletic ability to do that, but like she's one of those people. Like she has that factor of being able to win people over just by watching highlights because how much we love her finisher and how easy it is for her to do it and the athletic ability she has to pull it off. So I think that's going to be, something that she can definitely put in the bank for a future. But I still think Jada Parker and Kehlani Jordan can have a good match at No Mercy. I'm hoping we get, a clear cut next challenger soon that we all, I guess, would know. But I also thought while I was looking at this, while I was watching this back, like how different this NXT Women's Championship like title picture would be if Gigi Dolan and Nikita Lyons weren't hurt. Like I know one of them would be around there somewhere if they weren't hurt. Like Nikita Lyons, God bless her, she came back from a torn ACL and then tore it again. Gigi Dolan, like I think she's extremely popular, so I think she would probably be up there too as well. She might get mixed in with that Chase University storyline because or at least if she were back a couple months ago because JC Jane was there. But like Nikita Lyon, they were ready to push her to the top. So I think they're kind of waiting on her to come back a little bit too. I think that's also why they're pushing all these new faces into her onto the TV because they in case this happens again where like a big name they want to push to the front is out or multiple big names are out, we got to have someone be able to pick up the slack and keep people watching. Because right now, again, I said it last week, AEW's women's division right now is starting to pull a front, and after Wednesday, that it's the gap is widening. I'll say that.
Pause. Yeah, no, I feel that.
Nah,
100%, man, 100%. The gap is wide was crazy.
I'm here trying to compose myself. This is crazy.
I'm trying to see how many times we can get pause in one episode.
It's about 15 right now.
Yeah.
We're in there.
But to hit on something real quick, before we get to Mr. Exclusive, I do want to say what you talked about with Soul Ruka and like you said, putting on highlights. It just got me thinking. She probably has my top two finishers that I've seen from women's wrestling. Has to be Soul Ruka Soul Snatcher and Ember Moon's finisher. Those two, the
that
clips,
other one better be Ember Moon.
Man,
I was thinking the same thing, right?
Those two, man, them some creative women with them finishers, man. Those are some bad finishers, boy. I mean,
them joints hurt
Chef's
too,
kiss.
bro. Because like I'm watching them do that. Like Ember Moon, the first time I saw the Eclipse, I'm like, how is Nikki Bella getting hurt from doing the rack attack and Ember Moon's not in a wheelchair by now?
I know.
What's going on with right
now? that Eclipse
built different.
Different. You telling me, bro? You telling me?
Mr. Exclusive, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
All right, so we kind of talked about last week where we knew that, as One Night Bates was saying, like, we've got all these people we don't know. Everybody looks the same. Everybody was looking the same. But my thing about this was I knew that they probably brought a lot of those young ladies in because they wanted to, one, see how they would do under the pressure. It was a good tester to see if you see something out of these young ladies, if they're ready to make that next leap. So that was the one thing that they were able to do in this match, because sometimes, you don't have to win the match in order to be the person that gets elevated during that match. We've seen it on so many different occasions. So I think they did a good job out there. And I think that's going to be something like Russ was saying, that down the road, they could be put in place down the road. I'm glad that Sol Ruka didn't win this match, only because I'm not ready for her to potentially lose to Roxanne Perez, and I don't want that to slow her momentum down. But I the way this is going, the way she keeps losing these close ones, heel turn is coming. Turn is coming, and it may not be right now, but she's been losing a lot of close ones. And I'm telling you, at the right time, it's happening. And people are going to be like, what? Why is this happening? It shouldn't happen, but that heel turn is coming. I don't know when, but it's coming. The other thing about this, pause. Thank you. I appreciate that. The other thing about this is like Jada Parker, and I said it last week. If she had, she wins this match and then she loses to Roxanne, it doesn't hurt her status. That's the thing. Like, she will still be fine. People are still going to be trying to see what she can do and when she's going to take that step. She's on that level of like, okay, we're fine. When she gets there, we're going to be okay. So that's why I wasn't too sad. We wouldn't be too sad even if she loses to Perez, but she has a chance to elevate herself just a little bit more. So the match overall, it was good. But at this point, I might even go out on the limb and say, the NXT women's division is cooking, as it says in our title, it's cooking. But they may have to go get another title. And I don't know if it's a women's UK title. I don't know if it's a TV title. I know, Russia, I know you're shaking your head, but let me tell you why. I mean, there's so many women that are just doing their thing down there, and they only have 2 titles. Now, if they're going to go get tag team titles, I don't care. They need one more set of titles. They're getting so good down there that they may be able to have their own show down the road. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the vibe that is going. Like, they've been bringing women down in NXT, and they have been killing the game. So if they threw another belt in there, I wouldn't be mad, because I mean, there's just so many like women. This is the first time I'm like, AEW, they got too many belts, or this company has too many. No, they need another belt. They got too many women, and they can't really, like, I feel like, like we got 5 or 6 people chasing for the North American title, another 5 or 6 people chasing for the world title, and maybe that's what makes them exclusive. But I'm just saying, like, I think one more title will do. One more time.
I agree. We talked about this last week or the week before about them needing some tag team titles or something. And I do agree that the women's division deserves to have at least one more title or set of titles if they're going to go tag team in their division, just to give more opportunities. Like you said, it's too many people vying for just 2 titles, and it's just not enough. It's not enough time for things to go around for everybody to get their shine like they should. Because like I said, you still got Lash Legends, you got Sol Ruka. I mean, you got some hitters in NXT as far as the women go. So yeah.
I hate to say that I disagree with you, but like, to play devil's advocate, I think that little caveat is saying if they add tag team titles, it's what's going to win me over. Because like, you look at the men's roster, they have 2 singles championships for each one, and then they have the tag team belts. I think the biggest mistake they made with the women's tag team belts is unifying the NXT and main roster belts.
Agreed.
I think that was the biggest mistake they ever made. Yeah, because like they showed that they don't care about the tag team divisions for either one, and like they just gave them no chance to really like survive or live on that and just like make a name for herself and establish those belts. Because like, I think they could have done something great. Like, can you imagine like Sol Ruka and I don't know, Gigi Dolan or Lash Legend and Nikita Lyons as a tag team champions? Like, those 2 together, I think would be fun. Just thinking off the top of my head. But like, now that you think that you have Impact with them bringing in, they have women's tag team belts. If they had the NXT tag team belts, what could happen? Like the story right there kind of writes itself. So it's like, I don't like another singles belt, because if anything that I would knock on AEW, the first thing I would say is there's too many belts. When you bring in Ring of Honor, when you bring in New Japan, when you bring in CMLL, when you bring in New Japan Strong, there's
They got
too
40
many
belts.
gosh darn belts.
They
I
got
can't
40
tell you
belts.
who. Yeah, they have 40 belts on Wednesday, and then they have another 50 on Saturday, and I cannot do it. I just can't stand it.
Like here
So,
comes
like,
the
I think-
Canadian national champion. Like, where'd you come from?
Yeah.
Here comes the 24/7 Intercontinental United States Italian Espresso 7-Eleven champion. No,
Espresso.
just stop. There's too much. Tony Khan, calm down. Calm down, Tony Khan. But like, I think if they bring back the tag team belts for the women in NXT and just separate those, I think that would be a genius idea. And like, hell, do a tournament again when you got this TNA partnership going.
Yeah.
They got enough women to do it.
They got plenty. They have more than enough. And the thing is, again, they even have stuff. They've been making storylines, and they've even had some with, like, you know, even actually two of the women that were in the Gauntlet match, Ray and Brindley Reese. Those two are like, they're like, oh, we're friends or whatever. Okay, cool. Make them a tag team. If you want to do that, do it like how you're doing with oh my God, was it Katana and
Lash Legend?
That other what?
No,
yes, and Caden Carter. Yes, Katana and Caden Carter. Yes. If you do something like just like how they are, like they're actual friends, so they're a tag team. Sometimes it's simple. See, I ain't gonna say you can't do it, but sometimes just fix it.
I mean, Kalani Jordan, if she ever loses the belt, her and Sol Ruka could be a tag team.
Yeah. That really, man, come on. Especially the way how they move together, and like even that match that they had, imagine them as a tag. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. They're throwing random dudes together as tag teams. Why not throw random women?
Come on now. They did it one time for Heat Wave, but then they didn't want to do it again. Look, when they did it, it made sense. They did what was it? What was my girl Adriana Grace and Carmen Petrovich, because they was both from Canada. They said, hey, y'all two both from the same area. Just be They won. They had a great match.
The Canadian Destroyers.
Come on now. Look at that. Easy. I mean, it was a great match. I mean, we talked about the women for a little bit. Let's see who truly does believe. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Look, man, this was the main event of NXT. We had Joe Hendry, we had Pete Dunne, and we had good old Wesley. Okay. Now look, Wesley was out here looking pretty good, hitting some super kicks, doing what he had to do. You had Pete Dunne, I mean, just looking really good, breaking the fingers of Wesley. But actually, you asked me, I spots, because even after this, he had another one where he's on the ring apron and Joe Hendry does a reversal, flips him over. I mean, looking crazy. Then at this point, Joe Hendry grabs Wesley and hits him with his good old choke slam, puts him through the table. Now he gets Pete Dunne, does his choke slam, pins. Of course, what happens? Good old Ethan Page comes and distracts the referee from even trying to do a good old pin. But what happens after that? Good old Trick Willie Wonka come through and hits Pete Dunne with his finisher. Now, Trick Williams takes the ref, throws him in the ring, and now Joe Hendry gets the 1, 2, 3, and this is the finish. Looking strong, baby. Roderick Strong. I think this triple threat match was just a A1 banger, as the Heartbreak Prince would say. I mean, this was so good. I mean, we think about it, all the ties they put together. I thought this was great. You know, you got the beef going on with Trick Williams and Pete Dunne. You brought that together. Come on, Sean. You're still cooking. You got the whole situation with Ethan Page and Joe Hendry and their whole problem. And you brought that together. Come on, Sean. You're cooking up. I'm not mad about this. Look, Joe Hendry maybe getting the NXT title, possibly. That's a big hit. Would it be a little too early for him? I don't think so. Now, the question is this a little title reign for Ethan Page? Because, I mean, honestly, you won this, a couple of months ago. So you got a, 2-month title reign. I mean, at this point, are we going to say that same thing with Trick Willie? Because, he had a nice little title run. It was a little lengthy. Not as lengthy as it should, pause. But we do think this could have been a little bit better for him. I mean, the way he lost the title was strong. It was good. He lose that match or the title, so that was fine. But now we got Ethan Page where you're just doing a one-on-one with Joe Hendry. So if you lose this dude, this looks crazy. Now, again, you were on NXT for 40 days, not 40 nights. I ain't talking Jesus Christ. But we're talking about times when you're on here for 40 days, you get the title. Now, and again, we talked about this before. I said guys from AEW. When you come from AEW, you go on NXT, you go to WWE, you're in this little gray area where you're not talked about, you're not noticed. And you're just in this little blur. But that wasn't the case for Ethan Page. So you win the title now. So what's next for you? Because honestly, if you lose this, either you stay on NXT or you jump to that main roster. It's either the chase or to the next level. Mr. Xclusive, what are your thoughts? What do you think?
Say his name, and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Look, look. Here's the thing. Y'all know where I stand on Joe Hendry. What I'm about to say, is extremely against my beliefs, but I don't think that Joe Hendry should win this title. Strictly against my beliefs that Joe Hendry should win this title. As much as I would love to see it, the one thing that is starting to creep up that I don't like is you're making the NXT title bounce around a little too much. Joe Hendry win is great, but it's also not great if he's not going to hold the belt for the next 6 months. I need somebody who can hold his belt for a little while, and it's been passed around quite a bit recently. I want to say there's been at least 4 title changes since the beginning of the year. I could be wrong on that, but let's see. Trick had it. I believe, the Dragon had it. And now Ethan Page had it. I want to say Braun Breaker had it at the beginning of the year, and I could be wrong about that. So if I'm wrong about that, I know Statman got me on that. But we've seen it. I know you got me on that, brother. So I know there's been at least 4 title changes, and it's only August. Well, it's August now, so that's averaging you're averaging 2 months per title reign. I don't like that for that NXT title, and I know it's a developmental title, but I don't want that to continue to happen. We need it to grow. So I want to see Hendry win the title, but I also don't want to see Ethan Page lose it unless he's moving up. But I need that the journey to be a little bit longer on that. No Diddy, and I just need that to happen.
Well, I looked it up just for reference. This is actually only the second different NXT champion this year.
How?
Yeah. I crap you not. Dragunov had it last year at last year's No Mercy, and then Trick Williams won it in April at Spring Break, and then Ethan Page won it at Heat Wave. Okay,
all right, okay. I knew it was something like that, but it still don't feel like it's been. I don't know. I thank you, Stab man. I appreciate that because it felt like more. So that's right. Braun had it last year. He beat him. So okay, all right, okay.
Carmelo Hayes had it, won it at Stand and Deliver last year from Braun Breaker.
Gotcha. Okay, all right. I feel better. Thank you, Stat man. That's where the stats kick in, baby. Stat man. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, come on, man. Stat man. What do you think, man? What are your thoughts?
I don't think he's gonna win. I'm not gonna say he should win, but I just don't think he is. But if he does, I think it's a waste of time if he doesn't hold it at least until, like, oh God, can you imagine him showing up at TNA Superstar at the Royal Rumble with the NXT Championship? Because like I want to say, like the last time we had someone that was this popular outside, well, not just outside of wrestling world, but like just this popular nuclear, like just the ultra face that everyone loved and said his catchphrases was LA Knight, maybe like a year and a half ago. What did they do? They waited a year and a half to give him an actual belt. I don't know if they're going to do the same thing. I like the fact that he's in the mix for a belt. If anything, the NXT belt might be a little bit too high, but I think he has a big enough name to possibly have taken the belt off Obafemi. As strong as he's looked, it's going to be. I think it's harder to think of someone who's going to take the belt off of Obafemi than someone who's going to take the belt off of Ethan Page, just because of how good he's looked and how the quality of matches that Obafemi has had. I think that's going to be a harder challenge to figure that part out. So I probably would have had Joe Hendry against Obafemi for that belt and taking it off of him at No Mercy next week. But I don't know, man. Like, I really don't. I don't know. I am unsure of how we're going to get to this point because I don't. It's not that I don't like Ethan Page as champion. I just don't. I'm not sold on him as champion in a sense. And I think that's partially because I wasn't sold on Trick Williams as a champion. Like, the last time I was really sold on the NXT champion being NXT champion was probably Braun Breaker or Dragunov. But no, like, I'm sorry, I wasn't a fan of Trick Williams. I can't help it. I'm only going to tell the truth, bro. I wasn't.
You saw his face, Eric.
Heartbreak Prince.
He was like, wait a minute.
Thoughts? I gotta hear this.
He was like, ain't no way, bro. He's like, ain't no way.
You know how I feel about my boy Trick Willie.
Trick Willie.
Now I know he needs some work on the mic. I mean, he can have his limits there, but okay, he has some issues there. Trick
he's got more issues than Watergate on the mic. Bro, come on now.
But to get to what we're going to, I'm going to go ahead and flat out, I'm just going to say it. You say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Okay? Because I think it's necessary. I want to see it. I want to see them, NXT, Shawn Michaels, and them take this, I don't want to say leap of faith, but take this path where an outsider, such as Joe Hendry, can come in, win a belt. Because to me, I think it pays back like this relationship between TNA and and NXT or WWE. And so I don't see why you would not, or you would fear it. I think the crowd is into Joe Hendry. I know he's definitely over with them. The matches he puts on, when he's on NXT has been, phenomenal, been great. And I think you could have a whole story. And that's what we love to talk about, right? Stories and what keeps us coming back and watching every week. So imagine, Ethan Page took the title from Trick Williams. Joe Hendry goes back and helps Trick Williams the week after that in a match. And now, Ethan Page and Joe Hendry have a match. Ethan Page loses to Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry has the belt. And now you can have this whole story of either, I would prefer to see Trick Williams, going after Joe Hendry to get the belt back. And so he can have another reign with the title and hopefully a longer reign with the title. But I'm here for it. I want to see Joe Hendry go ahead and take the belt. I'm not a fan of Ethan Page, so I'm in agreement with you there, Garden State Warrior, or Garden State Stat Warrior. Let me put some spec on it. But I want to see Joe Hendry get this title and see what they can build from this. And I think it'll be a good look for the relationship between TNA and NXT.
I would agree with you in the sense that, like, every once in a while, you just need that shock factor as a champion. Someone who's going to win the belt that you probably didn't think, because I don't think we've had that since probably like Jinder Mahal. Because God knows,
Jinder Mahal, yeah,
Jinder Mahal,
so,
crazy.
Like, sometimes you just gotta,
Maharaja,
bro. Sometimes you just gotta put that strap on someone that you don't think and just give them that shock factor and be like, okay, just have this for a little bit and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, I think if they give him the belt, it'll definitely be a shock. From Paris to London and Tokyo. So I said, let's go, Joe.
Canada. Don't forget about Canada and Mexico. Don't forget about
Canada and Mexico. Let's go.
I believe in Joe Hendry. That's what I believe in.
Joe is that dude. Joe is that dude.
I want him to win so bad because I've been on the Joe Hendry train for like a year.
Yeah,
I've been a strong year and some change. And like, I remember that time in the group chat, I was like, guys, have y'all heard of Joe Hendry? I said, this theme song is catchy.
Yeah,
and I found him on TikTok, and I started watching TNA again because of Joe Hendry. Like, if it wasn't, I peek at it now more than I'd ever do. I subscribe to the channel and everything just so I could be like, okay, cool,
Yeah.
So he made the song himself too.
He made
that's what's cool, and it's
yeah. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Yeah.
Clap.
Pause.
Hey, so we. Oh, that's good. Come on now. You
We're,
on it.
we're on,
Pause.
we're on 38. We're on 38.
Oh, man. We talked about NXT for a little bit. Let's go ahead and get to that AEW Dynamite. Come on now. Now we're here. It's a good old Wednesday night. No, we they kicked it off with just a storyline we've been talking about for a couple of weeks now. Oh yeah, the DMD and the C. Oh yeah, look, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. See, look, I'm sick of this, but I like this. She's really taking this to a whole nother level. So look, let's go ahead and get into it. Mercedes Moné, she comes out. You know, Britt Baker's already out there. She comes out there with Camille, already looking like a good old, like I said, in Wardlow. She comes out there, her and Britt already getting it started. Mercedes goes ahead and says, look, Britt, you're the past and I'm the future. Okay. And honestly, she's a little bit right. But look, this is where it gets a little interesting. Britt Baker says, you were one of four. When I was one of one, there was a DMD before there was even a CEO. Now at this point, it gets a little personal. Britt Baker and Mercedes are looking a little intense. But Mercedes says, "You're my biggest fan. You wanted to be me when I was coming up." Britt says, "You know what? You're right. I did. I made the way for girls like me to start a company so I can be the first. And look who's standing in that company that I was the first of." See, now this gets crazy. Britt looks at Camille. She says, look, I'm not going to hit you. I'm not going to do nothing. But Camille's getting on my nerves. Hits Camille with the mic. Bam, boom, bam. Now, Britt takes the throws it on Mercedes Moné's face. Looks good. Camille and Mercedes look just disheveled. And this is the finish. This is how we look. Britt Baker holding that TBS champion. And honestly, it's a nice sight to see. Now, in my opinion, I feel like, you know, watching this storyline kind of just take place, I think I will definitely say to start this, to start Dynamite off with this, I was like, yeah, y'all are onto something. I really love how even on Collision, you know, they've been attacking Britt Baker. Apparently, Camille attacked Britt Baker right there on Collision. I was like, oh, this is good. So this is something that's already following up. I'm loving how looking at Mercedes Moné as really a heel factor. Not only just, you know, I'm the CEO, but look, I'm the highest paid. I make the most amount. It doesn't matter if you're in a match with me. Regardless, I'm going to win every time. And this is what she's doing. And honestly, I get it. I just found out the other day. I didn't even know her theme song was her rapping. I was like, oh, and you know, she got a little drill sound. So I'm not too opposed with it, but that's neither here or there. But honestly, who do I really think is going to win this? I really think it's going to be Britt Baker. But I think that they're going to extend this to make this longer. It's probably going to be Mercedes Moné, only to make it. And I don't think Mercedes is going to have a clean finish. I think Camille's going to have some kind of interference, and I'm thinking this is where it's going to continue to keep going. But we'll see. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Well, I love the way AEW started the show this week with this, promo, this contract signing in the ring between the two of them. They had two fire segments this week, and I know we're going to get into the other one a little bit later, but this was really good. And I think I want to give the promos that was cut by these two ladies a lot of credit because, Mercedes Moné, she hasn't been the best recently on the mic. Her promos have been a little on the weak side. But I thought this was a really good one. And it's more so, as we were talking about before, and I agree with Darrell right before we came on, it's because this was like her being her, like her personality. And I love, DMD, how she came back at, Sasha and her promo and talked about how she, Sasha was, one of four and how she uplifted wrestling and all that kind of stuff. But, she, DMD, that is one of one. And I mean, I love the banter between the two of them. And I'm really looking forward to this match. And that is what, setup and storytelling can do for matches and get people excited about it, like I am for this match on AEW, because you really don't know who's going to win, who's going to go, who's going to go over. Now, I can tell you right now who I want to go over. I love Mercedes Moné. That is my girl. She is the CEO, but I really have been enjoying the work that DMD has been putting in over these last, few weeks leading up to this pay-per-view matchup. And so I want to see DMD go over, and then we can see what happens going, from there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're gonna do something really good with it, man. I honestly, more as the weeks keep going by, I'm like, oh man, I'm actually really I look forward to this. This is like probably one of my favorite storylines I look forward to seeing, because how like personal they doing, and I like what Britt Baker did with that callback to the Four Horsewomen. I was like, oh, okay, now
that was an excellent callback.
Well, yeah, I love that, and to say. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Stat man, what are your thoughts, man? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I was always kind of wondering, like, when or if Britt Baker would ever go for the lower belt, and I hate saying that, just because she was always been a main event or the main event talent in AEW. She's always been the biggest name. She was the first one there. She was carrying that women's division for so long. So I was always wondering how they could get her in the mix for the other belt in the company. But I think they did it right now because they have someone else that's on the same level of star power as her to make that belt not always seem like the secondary one that probably was at the start. Just because we had that long drawn out reign by Jade Cargill, even though we love my queen, but that title reign was kind of stale at the end. So now it's interesting to see them use Britt Baker in this way, and I think this is probably the best Mercedes promo we've seen in, God help me, I don't know how long, probably since like the Bayley Iron Woman match a long time ago. So like that promos during that program.
That's a long time ago, my guy.
Yeah,
it's been
rough. It's been rough. She's been rough on the mic. I agree.
There were spots in there where she had her main roster run on WWE, but like her promos were kind of good. But like I don't think any of them were as good as this one. Like this one just seemed like she was being like Mercedes. That's her actual name. She was herself, and she was just kind of she was just kind of shooting the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like she was just talking spit, like a girl from Boston probably would. So like I enjoyed this a lot because it felt very natural to her. Like the boss character at points could have been a little gimmicky, and the promos that she had were a little gimmicky sometimes. Some of them were still good, but it could be a little gimmicky. So like I felt this one was the most natural she's been in a while. So I hope they keep that up. Britt Baker's always been solid on the mic, if not the best woman on the mic in the company. But I also think like we're in London this weekend. There's also another former women's champion that Britt Baker has a history with that could help her down the line, if not in London, that is from England. So I think we should look out for that as well in this match too, as well tomorrow night, because I think once Jamie Hayter comes back, that could be the scale evener to Camille and her presence, because it's. I think you guys were right in saying that there's going to be a screwy finish. It's not going to be a clean finish. So I think they got to add someone else to the mix to make it a little bit more even. I think Jamie Hayter in London this weekend, tomorrow night, would be great.
Yeah, I love that tape. Mr. Exclusive, what are your thoughts, man? What do you think?
Y'all know I like to throw crazy stuff out there. Y'all be ready. Becky Lynch is coming this weekend. I'm just throwing it out there right now. I just got to throw it out there just for fun. Hey, look, if you need somebody to interrupt the match, why not one of the 4 horsewomen themselves? And why not it be Becky Lynch? Why don't she come out there and cause some chaos? That crowd will go absolutely insane if the man comes out there. Now she can go because I don't really care. But bye. Peace out, peace and greasy.
Let me check Twitter real quick for Becky Lynch. She's scaring me too much.
I'm just throwing it in there, you know. I mean, look, if she goes out there and it shocks the world, you know, she's been quiet the last couple of months. So I mean, you know, and if last time I checked, they out here giving superstar women $25 million contracts, and if I'm not mistaken, the man is
Zoinks.
You know, she top flight, you know. But with all that being to the side, this has been a great setup. We've talked about it for weeks. We've been talking about it since the show started about how these 4 women with, you know, Toni Storm and then also Mariah May, and then you got a great storyline going on with the Doctor and Mercedes Moné, and all of the growth is just happening right in front of our eyes. This is what we wanted from AEW. This is what we wanted. We just wanted good wrestling. Well, they always give good wrestling, so I want most of the time, you know. So they're usually solid on the wrestling front, but we wanted those storylines, and now the storylines are starting to kick in with everything else that they could be. And I think the potential is there for them to really take a big step. For me, I think I want to see Moné win this match to an extent. But if the Doctor wins it, I would be cool with that as well. But I just think that, you know, for the character, if you're going to keep it going, I think they do need to kind of push her out there and let her have this thing a little bit longer. Because what they're doing is they're creating the prestige of the prestige of this title. They're making it, you know, big time. Because we know, I mean, you got the highest paid woman in the company holding the secondary belt. So if she's holding the secondary belt, you know, let's see what she could do. So I think you continue to grow for that, and whoever does beat her, you know, will help, you know, push their careers along at some point. But I don't know. I don't think the good Dennis will have the win on this one. I'm going with Mercedes Moné for storyline purposes.
Hey, I feel that one, man. That's how I feel about it. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I already said I think DMD. That's who I got. That's who I think I would like to see go over in this match. But again, I think you have a good thing going with Mercedes Moné and with this storyline for the TBS title. So maybe they will go ahead and extend it and keep this thing going. But I prefer to see DMD on tomorrow night.
Because we're all in.
Man. That's right. Look, we're all in.
DMD.
Yeah, we're all in.
Well, look, we talked about some of the great things of the women's division, but let's talk about another part that happened in the show. Good old MJF, Will Ospreay. I mean, we talked about this before. Look, Will Ospreay came out. You know, they in UK, so you know they going crazy for Will Ospreay. You know, he comes out. MJF, he comes out, you know, with the whole American suit on. He's got
this guy's killing it.
He's an American. He's an American. I mean,
he hates their country.
I mean, this is gold, man. He hates it. So he comes down. It gets real intense. The crowd's already telling him to just shut the F up already. But MJF gets in his face. He really just says to him how much he really hates Will Ospreay. He hates when he was gone, that Tony Khan has said that, you know, hey, the company's in good hands because we got Will Ospreay. And he even said that how he even rushed his return and his rehab to make sure he got back because he knew how much the company needed him. And so then it gets a little bit more intense after that. Will Ospreay says, dude, it took you 4 years to get 4 beats to my music to get these people over with me. The whole crowd goes crazy. MJF takes it personal. Now, MJF even gets to the point, he gets upset, he gets angry. He says, no, it's your fault. But then, classic MJF, it wouldn't be him if he didn't. Of course, dropping some jaw droppers. Says to him, look, you know, I'm going to put you over. You know, I appreciate the fact that you're taking care of your that's not your son. But she told me backstage that the next one that y'all have ain't gonna be yours neither.
Crazy work.
Look, let me tell you something. This man is
Savage.
disrespectful.
Savage.
I said, nah, this is crazy. So now, Will Ospreay, he goes up to Tony Schiavone. He asked Tony Schiavone, how much would it be if I put my hands on MJF? Us Americans, it's $100,000. First of all, you paying that much, you must really, truly hate this man and want to put your hands on him. He said, it's all right, it's cool, I got it. I'm going to put my hands on him. And classic MJF, what happened? As soon as he gets freed up, as soon as he gets some time, he takes that classic ring. That classic ring he been won, that he has won at Double or Nothing. He has won that same ring and used that. That's classic heel. This is classic storytelling that this man has been doing. He has had that ring since the start and continues to use it. And this is gold. So this man uses it on Will Ospreay. Now, at this point, what's he doing? He's just having that champion. He kisses the ring. And this is the finish. This is how we're looking. MJF looking strong, man. And honestly, I would say Roderick Strong, but I don't think there's anything stronger than this man. Push his aura, his title runs, and just him in general. I mean, we talk about how good MJF is. I mean, we're talking about him as a heel. We're talking about him when he even had his little face run. He was still doing that really well. But him to go back to being a heel, he still killed it. I mean, I'm loving what he's doing with this. This is a man of MJF and embodies that 100%. He takes it and he really like takes this serious. Look, I'm not going to lie. Everything that this man has done, everything that this man is doing, and that he's going to do is going to be nothing but gold. And honestly, I can't wait. I would love to see if him and Will Ospreay have another 60. I mean, obviously, we know it wasn't 60 minutes. It was 59 minutes and I believe 58 seconds. But, I mean, to be honest, they can put on another classic, and I know this is going to be good. Now, to be honest, who do I think is still going to win this? MJF, 100%. No way, shape, or form do I see MJF dropping this title anytime soon. This is the title you want to take since it's still kind of that mid-card. You need somebody that Orange Cassidy wasn't doing it. Not to say that Will Ospreay wasn't doing it, because he definitely was. But if you want to have somebody that's going to be controversial, somebody that's going to put a little respect on that belt, somebody that's going to put a little bit more extra leverage on that belt, somebody that's going to take that belt to the next level of an Intercontinental or U.S. title belt, this is what this man does. And that's what he's going to do. I don't see him losing this match. I think if he does win, of course, it'd be classic heel wave he's going to do with the ring. But let me get your thoughts. Mr. Exclusive, what do you think, man? What's your thoughts?
Man, look, first of all, shout out to MJF. We're so glad he came back because, I mean, it was a little tough time while he was gone. There was still some decent stuff going on, but him being back has been absolutely gold. If you had a chance to watch him on Wrestle Talk and the promos that he's done leading up into this has been absolutely gold. The chef kiss, as HB Prince would say, it's been a beautiful thing to see. And I'm going to be honest with you. I agree with Eric Knight 100%. MJF needs to win this match. I don't know how he's going to win this match, but he is elevating this title to a level that has never been. He changes the belt completely. This man is coming out as the classic. I mean, his gimmick is the classic American douchebag. He's the classic American jerk. Is what MJF's was playing. When people look at Americans, they look at MJF and say, "Hey, that's an American right there." That's the role that he's playing right now, and he's doing it amazingly. Now, I don't think Ospreay's going to win this match because he's got bigger fish to fry. We've talked about this a couple of weeks ago. He's got bigger fish to fry. He's got a world title to go after. You can't be the best wrestler in the world and not be in that world heavyweight title picture. So that's coming. I don't know. No, did he? I don't know how they're going to make it happen, but it's going to happen. So I see MJF winning it. I don't know how he wins this match, but it should be a really good match. The crowd is going to be off the chain. But they're going to be very upset after this match is over. I am so mad I won't be able to watch this tomorrow. I'm so mad I'm going to be on the road tomorrow. But, man, I know you guys are going to keep me informed because this is going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's going to be good, man. You know it. Megan good. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
I have to give it to MJF, and just, you know, everything about him is just a story. Every single thing. Like you said, from the way he changed the title, the outfit he wears, the way he walks down to the ring. And then you put a mic in his hand and magic happens. I don't care what anybody says. I know MJF, rubs people the wrong way, but that man is just gold. Okay. I mean, this promo this week between Will Ospreay and MJF, I mean, I was glued to the television. And just the when he talked about Will Ospreay's, wife and their kids, and then drop the disrespectful comment that after he talked to her, he wanted to let him know that the kid that she's carrying now may not even be Will Ospreay's again. I'm sitting there with my mouth just like I could not believe this conversation was actually happening in the ring like this. And in my head, I'm thinking, Will, you need to go in right here, right now. At what point is this not a line to cross? And leave it to all. Look at that face. Of all people to cross that line, MJF is going to do it. He's the perfect one to do it. And that is why he is MJF. And that is why we all need to say thank you. And so, MJF, thank you, because this right here is gold. And what you and Will Ospreay have the potential to put on is gold. And like you talked about also, Eric, with the ring, how that keeps playing a factor. He keeps bringing that back. Like everything he does, every single thing MJF does, it's amazing. And it's all a story. It's to the point where I wonder when the big lights go off, is MJF just being himself? Is there even a different person in there? Because we know that these wrestlers come out here and put on shows, but with MJF, it's like he lives and breathes this life. And this segment here, this MJF and Will Ospreay was for me the best segment of wrestling this week. And I cannot wait to see how this match goes tomorrow. Y'all know how I feel about Will Ospreay. That is my man, 100 grand. That is my favorite wrestler. And I would love to see him win. But MJF is just so good. And I am talking Megan good. And so I tomorrow night, I'm here. I want to see what story will MJF tell in the ring with Will Ospreay. And I already know that this is going to be a A1 banger. So, yeah, let's go.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Statman, what's your thoughts, man? What you think?
I like what we're doing here. Will Ospreay, MJF is again what I would say, kind of like what I was saying earlier about CM Punk. He may not be the flashiest wrestler. He may not do the biggest stunts. May not do the biggest bumps. But when that man has a mic in his hand, he's making magic, and there's no doubt about it. You're watching what he's doing. And I'd have to say, first off, like, I'm sorry to Ollie Davis, because this Wrestle Talk stuff that he's been doing for the last week or so has been diabolical to a level I didn't think he could actually go. He's been destroying that man on YouTube for no reason, just because he can. So I want to say sorry to that, because it's been absolutely amazing. But I think this promo is a really good way to wrap it up. Like a good go home promo to get ready for this weekend. Because like I am so ready for this match. It's not even funny. Will Ospreay is probably the only other person over the last 5 to 10 years, when healthy, that could say he's better than Bryan Danielson. Excuse my language. But like Will Ospreay has been putting on absolutely nothing but absolute hit after hit after hit since he came to the company, and it's nice to see it on a regular basis, and I don't have to find Access TV for New Japan or something like that, or British Rev Pro or anything like that. Although I would for Will Ospreay. MJF, throw him in the mix now. You throw Will Ospreay with someone his in-ring talents against MJF with someone who has his in-ring talents on the mic. This is what we're asking for. It's just going to be a great match. I don't see how it can't be. I don't. It's impossible for there to be less than 4.5, 5, 6, 1,000 star match from Dave Meltzer, or whatever number he wants to give out now.
5,000. 5,000 is crazy.
He's over 5,000.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it's gonna be great, man. I think we look at everything as a whole. The build up, how it already started, even when MJF had even called out Will Ospreay. The whole thing's been great. I mean, even the last couple of weeks. I mean, MJF said some wild stuff about Will Ospreay. I was like, dude, you are wild. But he did whatever he had to do. Classic heel stuff.
MJF is a cold piece of work, man. He's a cold piece of work.
He is. He kind of gives me like, I almost want to say he might be his this new generation's Ric Flair in certain ways, to where it's almost like in tune with his character.
Yeah,
it might be hard for him to turn it off. Like that's just him all the time.
I 100% agree.
That's a really good analogy.
So,
yeah, that's a really good analogy.
I think it's one of those. Yeah, because it's like kind of the more I'm seeing him doing these interviews and even when I'm just seeing him just in general in person, I'm like, oh no, you're like this all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's getting to that point.
He lives and breathes MJF, this character.
He does, and he lives and breathes pro wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean that's everything that I would see what Ric Flair always has been. So
yep,
that's probably my best comparison one. But we talked about the greatness of AEW. Now we got to talk about the best part of the end of the week. All right, now look, Friday Night Smackdown. We done talked about 3 hours of fire. We talked about NXT, the greatness of what they're doing, how Shawn Michaels, the chef, is constantly cooking it up. We talked about Dynamite and this build-up they've had with All In, with DMD, the CEO, and we talked about MJF and Will Ospreay. But now we got to talk about SmackDown. We got to talk about the – that's right. So that we kicked off SmackDown with the Grayson Waller effect show. You know how that is. You know how he is doing this whole thing. And the whole time, he's trying to convince Cody how bad Kevin Owens is. You know, how much Kevin Owens done turned on people. You know, he done had a list. They done went all the way back to 2014 to when KO betrayed Sami Zayn the first time. Then they said, what about Chris Jericho? Remember about that one? Oh, yeah. Remember when you betrayed your other good old best friend? And then they said, what about Kofi? Which, to be fair, Kevin Owens did say, I apologize for that. He said, look, Kofi didn't deserve that, and he apologized, and they cool after that, so that's fine. But then he said, what about Sami Zayn again? Because you got Sami twice, not just 114. Now you did it again in 2021 when y'all was in the Thunderdome. So now they keep pushing this whole narrative with Kevin Owens, you know, how bad he is, how much he can betray anybody on site. Look, let me tell you something. He's done it before. But now they get to the point where they try to attack Kevin Owens and Cody. And, you know, Grayson Waller pushes intentionally, obviously we can see, pushes Kevin. Now Cody's a little questionable. He thinks to himself, well, I don't know. Are you really, you know, who the man that you say you are? Now, I'm not going to lie. We think about this. We look at this storyline here. There's even a point even after that when Kevin Owens even grabs the title. And people start to react because they're thinking, oh, this is the time when Kevin Owens is going to take the title belt and hit. No, what did he do? He handed it to Cody. And he even told Cody, look, they don't got adrenaline in their soul like you. Look, let me tell you something, man. Kevin Owens is another one of those guys. You know, me and Mr. Swift was talking about it not too long ago. You know, there's a couple of guys. You put them in there, you give them something, and they make gold out of whatever you give them. Okay, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Chad Gable. But when you look at Kevin Owens, there hasn't been a story he hasn't done where he hasn't looked good doing. I mean, even with the whole thing with Elias, that was crazy. He made that into gold. And even this storyline here, I like this. I'm loving this a lot. Why? Because now we're seeing the possibility of maybe We might see the prize fighter Kevin Owens, but we might not. That little, it's almost like that teasing factor where we might see him, but we might not. If we do, this is good. If we don't, this is still good. But I'm not going to say too much of what I think. I really want to get you guys' opinion specifically because, the sexiest last name is just known for a few people. So, Mr. Xclusive, man, what do you think?
Hey, look, the title says it all, man. Kevin Owens is trying to be good. Y'all, a couple of weeks ago, I said this. It might have been last week, but he's trying to be good, and they just don't want him to be. He tried to push away everything. He said, look, man, I don't want this title shot because he knows what demon is inside of him. Like, he knows what's going to happen if they keep pushing him this way. And now his mind is running. And now he knows he's got a chance of reclaiming a world championship. He knows that he's got that in his grasp. And so, he's trying to be good and things keep happening. Even in the tag team title, in the tag match that they had later on that night, he looked like he was about to take Cody off his feet. But he played it off strategically. And he went full speed into Cody like he was going to take him out with the belt, and then just handed it to him and kept yelling at Grayson Waller and Austin Theory like nothing happened. Kevin Owens, win, lose, or draw in this match, is going to put on a show. That's what he does. That's what the sexiest last name in wrestling does. Don't be surprised one way or the other. But yeah, he's trying to be good, and they just won't let him. Just leave Kevin alone. He didn't want the title shot. Y'all forced him to have the title shot, and now Cody's getting exactly what he deserves because he's going to get every bit of Kevin Owens at Bash of Berlin. It's his fault. He tried to walk away. It's his fault. It's your fault.
Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Man, this is a miss for me. I guess I'm just annoyed by the fact that how we even got to this to begin with, and I guess I am not invested in this. I'm just going to be honest. Like, I 100% agree with Mr. Xclusive. Like, I know that KO and Cody, when they get in the ring, they're going to put on a good match. I can't buy into the story, especially not with the way things have been going for Kevin Owens, these past couple of years or whatever, that he's gonna, flip and go back to the bad Kevin Owens. Like, I mean, it can't happen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but in the current situation that we're in, I don't like how this match came about. I don't like the setup for it. I don't like they're trying to get some type of story into it, but it's a miss for me. I'm just not into it for this. I'm just ready to see, like, okay, let's get this match over. I know Cody's going to keep the belt. I don't see Cody really losing the belt. And that's the problem right now that I have with everything that's going on with SmackDown and the title reign with Cody is the fact that I just don't see anybody on the roster right now that is literally I can take serious and say this person has a legit opportunity to beat Cody Rhodes for the belt before WrestleMania. I mean, it ain't there. And so I kind of feel like I already know how this story is going to play out and how this story is going to end. And I'm not invested in it like other people might be.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I think that's the biggest thing. We think about it, we're not always going to like what's been going on. Now, me personally, I'm curious. I wouldn't say I'm on the biggest part of it, but I love what Kevin Owens does. I'm very curious to see where this is going to go. Stat Man, what are your thoughts, man? What do you think?
My man fell asleep.
He did it way better than I did just now.
Bro, that's crazy.
I'm sorry. Were we talking about a Cody Rhodes match right now? Because it's put me to sleep, bro.
Yeah.
I can't. The heartbreak said it best. Like, I'm not invested in this at all. Kevin Owens, one. Let's put the obvious out there. Kevin Owens works best when he's the prize fighter. Kevin Owens. That's the best version of Kevin Owens there ever is, there ever was, and there ever will be. But I find myself not arguing at all, almost even maybe not as much, almost not at all, to the people that are saying that Cody's title reign is starting to become extremely stale. I don't see it. Like, it's putting me to sleep. Like, when he turns on, I'm going to get a snack. I'm going to get a bottle of water. Going to the bathroom, taking my dog out to walk. I don't know, bro. I'm doing whatever. I'm playing Oregon Trail on my Switch. I'm not paying attention to Cody Rhodes, bro.
Back.
I will sidekick, re-release, and get it at GameStop. But I'm saying, like, it's just boring. I'll be honest. Like, there's one person I would say that has the name to take it off of Cody Rhodes. Maybe I'm biased, but that man's already holding the United States belt.
Yeah, I can see that. I can say that's a good one.
He's already busy. He's already got a really good one.
Yeah,
but like, I am. Will he, won't he? Will he betray him? Will he, won't betray him? We've seen the story at least 4 or 5 times from Kevin Owens alone. Like, it's
he's like, going to betray him.
And at the end of the day, I don't care whether he betrays him or doesn't. I don't care.
It's like Kevin Owens is good at betraying people that are his friend as much as I love chicken fingers, and I love chicken fingers, bro. like come on, like this is stale. Like this is like bread that's too stale to use for banana bread, bro. Like, come on now, you can't even do that. This is bad. This is just boring.
I mean, like, not even the sexiest last name in wrestling can make something out of this, and that's how bad it. He's gonna try, and that's what I can appreciate him.
Boss. I'm not gonna lie. That makes it worse.
That's the bad. He's trying. He can't. What else can he do? Like, he should have hit him. He should have hit him on Friday. But even then, I'm with Russ. I don't care about that match.
And and it's just sad because this is Cody. I mean, this should be better. Like, this is Cody Rhodes we're talking about. This man is over. This man has achieved the whole storyline with him and his father never having a belt. Now he has the belt, and it's just the way they did this whole storyline leading up to WrestleMania. It really just leaves Cody in this pit, this hole of, like, the only thing that matters is Roman Reigns in the bloodline, and if the final boss comes back to have his match with Cody. That's the next time my eyeballs will be glued to the screen to see what happens with Cody, because I still want to know what was whispered in Cody's ear by the final boss when he last showed up. 4 months ago. I'm still more interested and invested in that than I am anything that he's doing with any other wrestler, and that's sad to say because Cody he's phenomenal. He's a great champion. It's just there's just nothing there.
I'm still trying to figure out where that dang winged eagle belt is. I'm waiting on that promise to be
fulfilled, ain't getting
bro.
it.
Like, where's that?
You ain't getting it. You ain't getting it.
Like, where's my winged eagle belt?
Well,
the final boss has it.
I know one other thing, but I know we got to go to the next thing. But just the only other people that could take that title off of him are on the other show: Drew, CM Punk, Seth, and it would feel right. They're all on the other show. Every single person.
Give it to Gunther.
Gunther could do it too. But and LA Knight might be the only person on SmackDown that could take it, and I would be like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's where they are. Okay, y'all. I think Eric froze. So, with that being said, and while we're waiting for Eric to get back, we had some other things that went down. We had some other good things that happened during the night. We had the Bloodline. The Bloodline had to take on the Street Profits to take on the Street Profits for the tag team titles. But before all that even went down, we saw Solo Sikoa come out there with the tag team champions with Fatu and our guy Tonga. There's too many Tongas in there, like Tama. So so he comes out there and Solo says, "No, man, I need you to give your title, give your title away to this man, Tonga Loa. That and his run in WWE has not been sexy. I will also say I gotta give credit, ladies and gentlemen, to Corey Graves." And our guy, was that Corey Graves and Wade Barrett trying to make Tonga Loa sound like a great wrestler during the match. So if you go back and listen, you got to listen to that. Then they get into the match, which was a really good match. And it looked like the Street Profits had a chance to make something happen during this match. Looked like they may have been, they may have taken the titles off, but then the man, one-legged, coming out there in the security booth and out there super kicking people, throwing people all over the place. And then we see the bloodline. We see the bloodline reign supreme once again. Tonga Lord, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu, and the bloodline is standing tall. Even after DIY tried to come out there and make some dreams happen, it unfortunately just didn't happen for them. It just didn't happen for them. So, another great SmackDown. But I kind of want to know what you guys think about it. Russ, I'll start with you, man. What were your thoughts on SmackDown? And what were your thoughts in this situation, the bloodline and the Street Profits match? What were your thoughts?
I mean, if you want to talk about someone else that puts me to sleep, it's Tonga Loa. He might put me to sleep more than Cody Rhodes and that whole program. But I don't know. I'm not sold on it yet. I'm waiting to see what happens. I think we're all kind of waiting to see how they're bringing Roman Reigns again and the final boss back. So it's just kind of interesting to see how they're getting there. And I like 2-3 weeks ago, I was like, this is awesome. I like it. But at some point, it's kind of like, I don't like that they took the belt off of Jacob Fatu. I think he's the best wrestler out of the four of them. He's the most interesting one out of the four of them. So I don't like that he's not the focal point there. And he's just a side dude causing the distraction. I don't think that's cool. But like, I'm trying to figure out what they're going to do and how they're going to get there. So it's kind of like they're taking their time going down the road, and they're going on a couple detours. So kind of losing a little bit of interest, and I'm waiting to see how they pick that back up from me.
Yeah, see, and that's what I'm kind of interested in. I want to know, like, how. So talking about Cody, like, when Cody and Solo, like, why did they go away from that so quick? Like, it was starting to build a little something, and and then they threw Roman in there, and then all of a sudden, it's just like, all right, we're going to move on, and they just didn't stick with it. So now that you didn't stick with it, just kind of it looks a little weird that they didn't stick with it. And once it, just to go back a little bit on Cody, now we're looking at Cody still trying to find his way. Heartbreak Prince, man, what were your thoughts on this matchup?
Why? Why? We talk about this all the time, and we talk about the tag team just division. And, it was sad because I just knew last week when the Profits went over in a great match against DIY. And I was like, this right here could be lightning in the bottle. They had the Street Profits and DIY put on a phenomenal match. And then the winner was going to face, what's the name of the daggone, the Bloodline. I'm sorry. Right. And I was like, this ain't good, because I just don't see the Bloodline just got the belts. So I don't see them losing them that quick back to the Street Profits or losing them to the Street Profits. And it's just another time that I just feel like it's not making sense. Like I don't even take the Bloodline, the current Bloodline without Roman Reigns, serious enough to feel like they even deserve belts, any of them. Now I want to give Jacob Fatu his credit. Whatever's in that boot, whatever magic he has in that boot is A1. He is doing work with that damn boot. He last week he took out Roman Reigns, running full speed in a boot. This week he comes in, gives sweet chin music, to Dawkins and Tez with that same boot. Then starts stomping Dawkins in the ring with that same boot. And I'm just trying to figure out, how is all this happening with this boot? What is going on with that foot? But he's the only one that I think, and I take take as a legit threat. I love his character. I love the fact that he feels like the enforcer of the group. It's like he would have been a better enforcer than with Roman than what Solo was. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. To me, though, to get back to the point of this match, it was just heartbreaking to see Montez Ford and Brian Dawkins, a great tag team that should have the belts and should be going far within the company with those belts and could go could do a lot for those belts as far as making them legitimate. Just lose and to all people the bloodline like this. Like I just why?
Well, the bloodline don't need the titles.
They don't.
That's the thing. This bloodline didn't need the titles.
No, they deserve them.
They just force fed the titles to them, and we could be seeing a great series of matches between the Street Profits and DIY for the tag team titles the way it should be. But unfortunately, we're getting force fed this, and then we'll probably see DIY end up taking on the bloodline again and try to regain the tag titles. And it just feels so unnecessary unless it becomes a triple threat match, which also could be something that would be nice to see. I personally don't like the way this is kind of panning out. You thought it could have done this just a little bit better, but I mean, it's, I don't know, fellas. I'm not a fan of what it, the way it went down, but I do think they could fix it. They just got to give the titles to one of the peoples. That's it. Just got to give it to one of them.
And I want to read a quick comment that I see we got here too from the Psalmist Voice Radio Network that says Bloodline 2.0 is not the OTC. And I can't say I can't agree more. I mean, the Bloodline, I think, has just not been the same without Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns' leadership. I mean, I know that they wanted to try to grow and push Solo, but I just feel like the way they've gone about it, this feud with Cody, I just don't think, that group, the 2.0 bloodline was ready for that. And you just couldn't take it serious because you knew that they weren't going to be able to go over on Cody. And I just felt like they probably, after Roman lost, needed to start from the ground and build them up. Kind of like what they did with the Judgment Day. Like, just start off with them interfering in like basic matches with other people and build them up into the threat that they are. But it's like they tried to make them or keep them as the main players, and it has not worked. They've tried to put belts within the bloodline, like the tag team belts, which again, why? No need. I mean, no need. And it's still just not working. I still cannot take the Bloodline 2.0 serious. I just can't.
The only good thing that came from this, and I think you guys will both agree with me, is they gave us just a hint of dissension in this bloodline when the Solo made Jacob give the title that he worked hard for. I mean, he the one that got them tag team titles. And so when he made him give it to Tonga Loa, one of the Loas, and Loa, it's too many. They should have gave him different names. But Loa, when they gave it to him, you can see it on his face, like he didn't, but he hugged him. But the hug was weird because when he hugged him, there was no hug around. He just had his arm straight. And I know that could be part of the psychopath part of that is Jacob Fatu. But yeah, that's the only thing that came out of this. I'm like, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah,
it's stale, and like as soon as we lost Paul Heyman, that's when it was kind of like, all right, now I'm done.
Yeah,
and they didn't replace him. I thought that was something they were going to do, and they just never did it.
They started their path downhill once they put Paul Heyman through the table. Once you lost the Wise Man, I 100% agree with you, Garden State Stat Warrior. Once you lost the Wise Man, you didn't have Roman Reigns. At that point, it's not enough to carry this group and make them legitimate. Make them, Paul could put them over because Paul has the ability on the mic to start making you feel like these people can be taken as a threat. But once they lost Roman and then you lost the Wise Man, they have been going downhill ever since. So, and I just don't think they really know what to do with them as far as to make them feel legit. But that's my gripe on it. I'm SmackDown right now to me feels like it needs a little work.
It's what Raw was
Yes.
Before, like maybe like the end of last year.
Mm-hmm.
The end of last year, this is exactly what's. And I never thought that would be the case. But that tells you how much not having Roman there has changed the game. And when he has been there the last couple of weeks, the energy level was different. And so him not being there this week kind of changed everything.
And I want to shout out real quick from Nicole B that says the Bloodline 2.0 is like the Garden State Warrior going to sleep again. Laugh out loud, boring. She says, and what I definitely agree with, you cannot replace the OTC, which we all know, or the Final Boss. And that's my boy right there. That whole Final Boss character that came about was gold.
Oh man, looks like we got
the
our
final
guy.
boss back.
It looked like we got our guy back here. He disappeared for a few minutes, but we kind of had
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Eric Knight.
So now, Eric, we know we were talking about the bloodline, and so got to get your take in on that, like what. Like your thought process of that Street Profits and that bloodline match that we saw on Friday.
Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead and get into this because let me just say this. First of all, when they started off with Jacob Fatu giving the belt to Tonga Loa, we was already saying, I was like, nah, bro, something about it just doesn't feel right. I'm not. I was like, either they're gonna lose these belts and the Profits got this, or something's going to happen. And, of course, what happened? We've seen the Street Profits, they got screwed out again. They lost. Now, of course, I looked at the crowd. The crowd was devastated. But at the same time, I'm going to be okay with this for now. And the only reason why I say this is because if you don't put the titles on the Street Profits now, fine. But down the road, if you want to make these titles prestigious and you're keeping it on the Tonga brothers, fine. Do that for right now. But we need to get these titles on the Street Profits as soon as possible. Let's give those titles that prestige, and then let's put it on the Profits. Honestly, I knew it was going to be either one or the other. But I mean, I love how everything happened. I love how Jacob Fatu again. Coming in full speed, running with the boot.
The magic
just going crazy.
The magic boot.
Super kicking everybody.
It's like magic.
Super kick Ted, super kick Dogs. I mean, and then that whole after attack, even when DIY came and they tried to help. I mean, I said, yeah, this is over. This is done with. It's finito. And I ain't talking Chief Keef. I mean, honestly, I thought it was just, phenomenal. And I ain't talking AJ Styles. I've never even done that back to back like that. And I ain't talking Drake. No, that's a crazy one. I'm going crazy.
It's out of control.
No, man. But I mean, we talk about storyline. We talk about aura. We talk about how good is this still continuing to get, and how far the bloodline really going with this. And honestly, I think they're so far gone. And I ain't talking Drake. I'm going crazy.
Or Monica.
Come on now.
Over you.
But yeah, I mean, I love what they're doing with it, man. Now, would I love to see the Profits win? Yes. Do I think taking the titles off of DIY was necessary? No.
No, not at all.
Do I think they should have lost the titles so quickly after winning? Of course not. You shouldn't have lost at all. They shouldn't even had a match to put the bloodline. And I remember Heartbreak Prince was saying this before. What was the point in really giving them the title? What was the point in giving, Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu the titles? Now, I won't say I thought Tonga Loa really showed out. He showed, look, I'm not just a bocce man. I can actually do a little bit more.
He went back to sleep. It's done.
Right.
He wasn't with it. But I thought, hey, he was solid. And honestly, this is the same Tonga Loa I seen live. And I said, all right, look, I knew you were better than this. Please don't do this. No, I thought he was good. I thought he was decent. I mean, I can't say I seen a botch that I was like, all right, come on. I thought he was solid. I thought he was.
Well, look, like I said, I was telling, when you had you disappeared for a couple seconds, I was saying, I'm like, the biggest thing that came from this was one of the biggest things during that match for Loa was that Wade Barrett and Corey Graves did their best to make him sound amazing in the ring. I was sitting there like, okay, I see what you guys are doing. Y'all are trying to do damage control, and I'm not talking about EO Sky and the crew. We saw it happening. It just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. But look, y'all.
Let me say one thing real quick. Because Psalmist he's been cooking over here in the comments, but he's been talking about a few things that I agree. He said there's a greater build at play with the OTC. We just got to watch. And lastly, that the Street Profits will have their day. And I would say to that, I pray.
Maybe I
prayed for their championship day.
Look, maybe it's a new day that we will see.
New day.
before we move on, because I know we got one last segment. Today is a very tough day for a lot of wrestling fans because this day last year we lost the amazing Bray Wyatt, and so here, the Xclusive Knights, we got a little shout out to the legendary Bray Wyatt. So I hope you enjoy.
Thank you, Bray.
I'm gonna cry.
Thank you, Bray.
I know.
I'm gonna cry.
That, man. Hey, thank you, Bray.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you, man. We
Oh
love
my
seeing, the come up, on NXT. We just bring the Wyatt family around. When you brought Sister Abigail around, we created the Fiend Firehouse Fun. Then even when you came back again in 2022 and was starting that feud with LA Knight, and we started and you brought before you were gone, you brought us Uncle Howdy and the Sick Six. Thank you, Bray Wyatt. We will miss you, and you will always be missed. And we wish you were still here to continue this path of wrestling and greatness that's going on. But we know that your spirit truly lives on, and especially with the Wyatt 6'6".
Amen to that.
Y'all remember, because it was at your place we saw that SummerSlam where he debuted the Fiend.
Oh,
it
man.
was your place.
Oh,
Eric. We watched it with
Yeah.
Mama. I think it was the first pay-per-view we
Yeah.
watched with Mama Night.
Yeah.
It was that SummerSlam. He hit the Fiend music.
Yeah.
I specifically remember getting up and running around the apartment and losing my day.
Yeah.
I remember that too.
Yeah.
Like, slow down, Russ. Nope.
Yeah.
That was amazing. That's a debut for the ages right there, bro.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
good
can't
times.
do anything but agree with what you said. It also makes me mad because I still remember the 2-month reign he had after he won the belt in Elimination
Yeah.
Chamber. That was robbery.
Yeah. Vince.
Happy
That's
not
what-
birthday,
I think
Vince.
that's
We don't
what
talk
makes
about
it
Bray.
so
We don't talk
sad.
about Vince.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it so sad, man. It's like, he went through so much during the Vince era. I would have loved to seen how much he would have really thrived in Triple H's era right now.
Yep.
But it's all right because we still got Uncle Howdy, and I think they're doing an amazing job. But to finish off the show, let's go and see who really knows their wrestling. All right, Russ.
I think it's fitting that we did that tribute to Bray Wyatt because I want to say the first one we have now. I told you guys at the beginning, and Elwood, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to make you this mad. I was going to give you some guys and see, with the honor of college football kicking off today, see if you could figure out which team they played for in their college heyday. I left out the obvious ones. Of course, I mentioned Roman Reigns and Goldberg before, even Titus O'Neil. Everyone knows they played for their schools. Titus O'Neil played for Florida. If you don't know that, then where have you been? You obviously didn't watch the Greatest Royal Rumble.
But
Go ahead and throw that first one up, boss, in honor of Bray Wyatt. Now, if you don't know, I'll tell you the school names they are. He played football at one of these schools, either at Buffalo on the right, Boise State in the middle, or the Tulane or the Troy Trojans. I was about to say Tulane. The Troy Trojans on the left.
I'll let the gentleman go first.
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna say Boise.
I'm gonna go with the Troy Trojans. The Trojan, my bad.
I'm also going with Troy.
Troy. Okay. Bray Wyatt had a scholarship to the Troy Trojans.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. He went there. He played defensive tackle and guard at Troy.
I can see that.
Dang. Okay.
And that's one of the ones I knew because they talked about it in the documentary, and they were talking about like how he was there, and I said, I know that one. When I saw that, I said, I knew that one. Yeah, we go.
Yeah, I had to throw that one in there because I realized what date it was right before we went on the air. So I was like, we're doing over some other things. Let me put this together real quick.
I loved it. That was great. I love that. That was one that definitely hit us for a good one.
All right, boss. Throw up the next one.
Oh.
Yeah, Ron Simmons.
This one should be pretty easy.
Look at that hair.
This one I probably thought was the easiest one.
I think I knew this, but no. I'm
This is
having a brain fart.
you got Florida State on the left, you got Florida in the middle, and you got Georgia on the right.
I got Georgia.
Think?
Yeah, I'm going with Georgia on that one.
Oh no, this is an easy one. This one is Florida State. For me, they took an L today, and he was a former Heisman Trophy candidate. I'm just throwing it in there. Florida State.
Yeah.
Ron Simmons, and Mr. Exclusive was right. Ron Simmons played defensive tackle at Florida State.
Feeling pretty good right now.
You're 2 for 2 right now, boss.
Yeah, he's cooking.
It's the next one I feel really good about, but it's the other two. I'm like, nope. I'm gonna be closing for everything on the next two.
Let's throw them up. Big E.
Okay, no, I know this one. I had
to throw Big E out there. Big E is my guy.
I know this one.
Now
you can take this picture off. I already know. Go ahead.
You got Washington State at the top. You have Iowa State in the middle, and then you have Iowa at the bottom. Iowa Hawkeyes, Iowa State Cyclones, and Washington State Cougars. What do you guys think?
Iowa.
It's a Hawkeye.
Iowa. I got Iowa. Yeah.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Big E played defensive tackle for Iowa Hawkeyes. Yes, he did.
There we go. Come on, boy.
There we go.
Come on.
Here's the one that I'm not gonna get right.
I'm somewhat redeemed. I got one right.
I'm 3-3 for right now. It's about to go to an end though. I'm not excited about that.
1 for 3. I'm at 33. 33%.
Yeah, the 3 I knew I was gonna get right.
There, boss.
Here we go.
Moose.
Moose.
I wanted to throw a TNA guy out there. Now, the interesting thing about it, Moose actually played offensive line he made it to the league. He played offensive line
for the Falcons, right?
For Matt Ryan in Atlanta.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah. It was with the Falcons, yeah.
Yep. So your choices are Tennessee on the left, Syracuse in the middle, or Illinois on the right.
Man.
Gosh, I remember watching the interview, and I remember him talking about it or saying, and now I'm trying to think. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You know what? Yep. I think I'm going to go with Tennessee. I think Tennessee is going to be my pick.
Me too, Eric. Because that's the one that's itching at me. It's either Tennessee or Illinois, but I'm going to go with Tennessee.
I want to be right on this one so bad. All right, let's go. I'm going Tennessee. Illinois is what's that?
Moose played offensive guard and graduated from Syracuse University.
Oh, come on, man.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I tried to throw 3 schools with like a letter and orange in there just to kind of mess with it. But he graduated from Syracuse University. I want to say it was 2000. He was drafted in the 5th round, 2006, by the Falcons.
That's crazy work.
Wow.
Crazy work. Last one.
Or was it Nick Van Vliet or whatever talking about it? And I should have remembered.
I wouldn't have got that one. That's the one I didn't. I knew he played football. I knew he played for the Falcons, but I couldn't remember.
I didn't know he made it in the NFL. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
now,
so crazy.
This last one, I don't think any one of you guys are going to get it, but I wanted to see if you could.
No.
I think I know.
I'm going to say UCLA.
UCLA Bruins.
But that's what I'm going with. I'm going with UCLA. I feel like it's Penn State though. Oh.
So I thought about that. So I was about to say I'm going with Penn State because that's where I think it might be Penn State. That's what I'm going with.
Lex Luger played football for Miami University.
Oh,
and
what?
Penn State.
He played for both of them.
He transferred from Penn State to Miami. It was that was the trick question I told you about, boss. So Miami and Penn State, either one would have been correct.
How do you have three options?
How do I pick the wrong one out of the three options?
The wrong one out of 3 options. That's how bad I am.
2 of them are right, and I still get it wrong. It's crazy. It's crazy.
He went to Penn State first, but then he transferred to University of Miami and they suggested he switch positions to the defensive side of the ball.
Oh my goodness.
That's crazy. Man.
I tried to find someone from Michigan.
That was good.
Like, I couldn't find anyone from Michigan that was really good and played and wrestled. So I was like, I couldn't put the national champions on there.
I mean, that was a good one though. That
was good.
I felt good about those first 2. It was the last 2. I was like, I don't know. I don't know.
I didn't feel good about any of them.
I tried to tie them into what's going on for the weekend because the first Saturday of college football. I will say probably next weekend. Probably going to be pro football because it's the first Sunday of NFL, and I'm super excited for that.
Cowboys
might make it a little bit easier. I'll you know what? I'll put a Cowboys question on there. I might put a Packers question on there, and I might even put a Giants question on there.
Come on, you better put a Giants.
We'll figure something out.
Come on, please.
You better put a Giants one on there.
I need something.
Nobody cares about Daniel Jones.
It's for my own son. I mean, shoot, we don't care about him either.
Is that we out here trying to sell this guy?
Yeah,
bro, I might have that Tommy Cutlets all day. Put some respect.
Oh, that Tommy Cutlets. Hey, Psalmist. Hey,
look, he beat Green Bay last year. I ain't got nothing to say. I ain't talking no trash about Tommy Cutlets. Nothing.
You better be scared.
Oh, hey, look, man. We talked about a lot. We talked about the 3 hours of fire. We talked about NXT. We talked about Dynamite. We talked about Friday Night Smackdown. And we've seen who really, truly knew their wrestling. Look, as always, we thank you guys for watching as always. Look, please make sure you guys give us a like, subscribe, a follow, throw on that notification, follow us on Facebook, hit us up on Instagram, hit us up on X. We're always here. We're always posting stuff constantly every day throughout the week on YouTube and also on Instagram.
Thank you for your support, everybody.
Yes, right. Thank you. It's been great so far. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you. We appreciate y'all.
And we are going to keep on climbing. And the more and more you guys keep on coming, trust me, we have so much more for you guys. You guys have no idea.
Yeah.
Pause. That was a crazy pause.
Yeah.
I think that was number 47.
That wasn't crazy.
They're going to be like, these guys are so childish. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
But again, we thank you. I'm your host,
Eric
Knight. We got the Garden State Stat Man. We got Heartbreak Prince, and we got Mr. Exclusive. And thank you guys again for watching the Xclusive Knights Podcast, where the Knights will never
be the same.
Thank you.